Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to your new Jackrabbit Illustrated B-Team spin-off show.
Scared money don't make money.
That's right, folks. Scared money don't make money. The spin-off show from the B-Team with Ben and Brendan making their picks against the spread just like old times, with the addition of Alex Kenkel and his computer model that is featured weekly on JackrabbitIllustrated.com. As usual, the B-Team and all Jackrabbit Illustrated podcasts are live on the Jackrabbit Illustrated Facebook and Twitter pages, along with being live on the FCS Fans Nation YouTube channel. Also, if you don't catch us live, be sure to tune in on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or any major podcast outlet in between. As always, the B-Team is brought to you by our title sponsor, Kubota Dealers of South Dakota. If you need a tractor, utility vehicle, construction equipment, zero-turn motors, parts, service, and more, there's always a Kubota dealer near you with 8 locations across the great state of South Dakota. Stop in today and get yourself into some orange equipment. And we would also like to thank our segment sponsor, Cubby's Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Brookings. If the Jacks are out of town and you need a place to watch them, head on down, get some Chislick cheese curds, beer, and burgers. And now, without further ado, scared money don't make money. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the international sensation that is Scared Money Don't Make Money, obviously followed by Vegas insiders everywhere because, boys, we're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well.
Not doing bad, and I do have to say that is the best intro I've ever heard, by the way. Like, when Jimmy says Scared Money Don't Make Money, it just gets me going.
It's time.
Mike, glad you're joining us again. Mike joined us, I believe, on the late night show with Borg. And we were I told him Racer 1 almost turned into Elmer's 1 after they burned me a couple times. So guaranteed not to lose is a bold statement. That is strong. I appreciate the faith in your team. We'll see.
They're on a bye, Brendan.
The lines on them. Yeah, well, it's Murray.
He should stay tuned for JIAI. I just whipped something up, and it has a Murray State to it.
Oh no! Finally get some cross play with other fan bases, and Ben and Brendan just burning it down right off the start.
Burn it right down. We finally get a Murray State fan, and we're just dicks. That's what we are. That's what we do. It's a B team. So welcome in B team with Alex. I think Alex, you're sort of officially becoming a B team member now. So
I keep referring to myself as the C team, hoping it's going to catch on, and it just doesn't. Sorry, I'm retweeting the show on Twitter. I normally do that before we start.
Attaboy. You know, I appreciate you commentating on it live. If you have to go to the bathroom during a show, don't do that. But Ben was here way early, like a full minute 40. So he was itching for me to fire this up ahead of time. So that's why we're on time today, which is exciting. Oh, Mike, you've been a long time, second time. Attaboy. Hey, appreciate it, man. Thanks for listening.
You appreciate it.
We do. We do. It's all jokes, and we do appreciate it. We do also have our other segment sponsors for the show that we will talk about later in the show, of course, because they're segment sponsors. So we'll talk about the segment sponsors when we get to the segment. But special shout out to Kubota Dealers of South Dakota and Cubby Sports Bar and Grill. Of course, that's the best place to go, especially a week like this where it's an away game. Get there and you'll have TVs coming out of your ears that have the Jacks game on. So you're not going to be craning your neck for the one TV or two TVs that the local sports bar usually has mixed up with some silly UFC game or a Maction game nobody cares about. Go to Cubby's. They got you covered. So beyond that, Ben, do you want to go through the tally for how things went for us?
I do.
Are you still JIAing? I can read them off.
I am JIAing, but I'll recap how this week went, and then I'll summarize the picks after that. We had Murray State coming back to life and whooping up on Mississippi Valley State 59-8. And with that, we'll just get it right out of the way. I've got a JIAI for that, if I could find it. There we go. Just a second here. This is great podcasting. There it is. The horse got put back together, and no horse made to glue, just fell apart, but it got put back together. So Murray State's good to go now. Then we had
Brendan.
What's that?
That's a nice one. But I bet they use glue to put them back together, which is kind of sick. If you think about it.
I mean, it's just the sinews, right? Like, what's the difference whether the state it's in?
Right. Sinew is sinew. It's it's doing the same job.
Then we had Missouri State beating Lindenwood 28-14, but Lindenwood covering. We all called that one correctly. The model was the only one that had faith in Murray State, and it paid off for the model. Illinois State took care of Western Illinois, but did not cover. Duquesne beat Youngstown State. Youngstown State was a 29.5-point favorite and lost to the Duquesne Dukes. Youngstown is in a world of hurt right now.
I don't know if we want to get to that when we get to their game, but I know Brungard's the hometown boy, but gosh, he is, other than half of the Villanova game, he has not looked good this year at all.
Yeah, no, they're I don't know where they go from here, but they're in a low spot right now, falling out of the top 25. They got a long ways to go to even think about the playoffs this year. Indiana State got a win against Dayton and covered. UND covered against Idaho State. Portland State covered against USD. That counts, right?
No.
I don't think so.
Fine.
They could have laid a whooping on him.
I'll delete that one. A whooping, that's a good one.
A whooping on him. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I do have a JIAI for that. It is.
Well, we gotta wait for the JIAI time. You can't throw it in.
Tease all this out early.
You can't do this. You can tease it, but you can't.
It's relevant.
It is relevant, but we gotta wait for JIAI.
No, we got to talk about it. Portland State had to not forfeit the game, but they did not. There was no game played. They didn't call it a forfeit. They called it a no contest, I guess.
Which is completely congruent with previous NCAA rulings going back to COVID, or even those that are familiar with the Northwestern State situation last year. They had to cancel. I know you guys talked about it on Tuesday, so don't got to dwell on it, but just to throw my 2 cents no one asked for in there. I'm not really sure why the Yote fans are – I do understand why, but I'm also not sure why they're like so eager to get the forfeit out of this, because it's – 2-1 looks better than 1-2, and then you go to the end of the year 9-3 versus 8-3, or 8-4 versus 7-4, or whatever. But that's not gonna, some of those secondary metrics, if they're tied, so they're 9-3, but the margin on that game is going to be 2-0 for a forfeit. And they're going to have no other stats from it. So that could, if they're equivalent record, kind of tank them a little bit.
I understand where you're coming from. It hurts them no matter what, really, is how it goes.
Right.
But I would be pissed and want to forfeit out of it. There's no doubt in my mind. Like, no, I want to forfeit out of it. I'd be pissed. I absolutely would want to forfeit out of it.
Especially since they traveled out there.
Right.
Like, that makes it so much worse. And that they didn't say anything before they traveled out there.
That's true. That part of it is super crappy on their part, as they're being Portland State, obviously.
Yep. Yeah, it was a brutal one. But
we can share this JIAI from last week. We'll use it again. This week it's USD's brass throwing a fit on Twitter. Very unprofessionally, in my opinion. Had to do it. What else do we got? We had NDSU barely surviving against Eastern Tennessee. That would have been a horrible loss, and they were 26-point favorites. They got lucky, very lucky. They talked about, I was listening to something, they said that they hadn't converted an onside kick in like 20 years, and they just happened to get it right when they needed it.
That's wild.
Granted, they probably haven't kicked a lot of onside kicks in the past 20 years, but still,
Right.
like
I said it in my column, and I said it, I think, in our group chat. The freaking golden horseshoe lives on. I mean, even when you think it might be starting to go away, that golden horseshoe just reappears.
Well, it feels a little bit like if you go through the years. I mean, it. I will give them credit. That is what winning programs do.
That's
They're
true.
really hard to beat. What?
Brian Thompson, he said neither XDSU came even close to covering. One came considerably closer than the other.
To be fair.
To be fair.
But
anyway.
Yeah. But that's kind of part of it. I mean, you look at, remember all the times when Tom Brady was on the Patriots and they were the Patriots at the time. You thought they were dead and buried, and then they came back and won. The Chiefs do it all the time now, too. It's just what top teams do. Until you've got that last shovel full of dirt on them and the game's over, they're not out of it. And I honestly wasn't shocked as soon as they went and started driving for their second to last score with the way Cam Miller's been playing this year. I'm not shocked. They played, they played awful, but they pulled it out when it counted. You could tell, that works out because it's ETSU, and you can tell it's just a program that's not quite used to winning yet. I mean, that's a thing, learning how to win and handling those moments. And they didn't handle the moment. And so what do you do? And yeah, what was the NDSU line? 26? I mean,
NDSU line was 26.
We had 34.5. We didn't have minus 47. But in the end, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We both looked like garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neither team looked
great.
Super impressive. Not too worried about it.
So needless to say, NDSU did not cover. Nebraska covered against UNI, 134-3. Southern Illinois beat Incarnate Word by 7, which was exactly the spread. So that one ended in a tie as far as the spread's concerned. And then SDSU did not cover against Augie. So I went 5-4-1. Brendan went 5-4-1. Alex went 5-4-1. And the model went 7-2-1. Our records looked a lot better with that Portland State cover in there. I feel like you should have let me leave it in there, Brendan.
No.
Wait, what's this we stuff? Did I pick Portland State? Yeah, I did. All right. I mean, I could be for it. Did Alex pick Portland State? Yeah, I think we should leave it in there now that you mention it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You bring up a convincing
I tried.
argument.
I tried. I forgot to show Youngstown State, the sad penguin. Somebody asked if you were going to turn a horse into glue, what are you going to do to a penguin?
I'd turn him into a pillow, and then I'd eat him.
This makes sense.
I am confused by that statement.
Feather? A down pillow? What are you frickin' knuckle draggers?
You didn't
out of a penguin?
You didn't have enough.
Why not? They have more down feathers than anything because they got to stay warmer. Are you nuts?
You didn't have enough of a comment in there, so I thought you were.
Oh my god! No! Alex, shut up! Ben doesn't know that penguins have feathers.
Are you sure it's not like just hair?
Yes.
They're birds, Ben.
Yeah, but
Ben.
But what bird has hair?
No, it's fur.
No, it's not.
What bird has fur?
Well, they're barely birds. They don't even fly.
No, they do not have fur. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes, fat helps, and that's why they'll be tasty. But they still have down feathers. They still have feathers. We have waterproof feathers. Just like a loon or any other bird that goes in the water. Are you looking it up? How is this taking you that long to Google even?
I was looking up why they're considered a bird, but I guess there are multiple flightless birds. They need to come up with a new classification.
Ostrich, emu.
Anyway, let's move on to this week's football games.
No.
Do we have a sponsor we need to mention?
This has got to be a real. Oh my god!
They seem like it's fur. It was a common question on Google.
No, it wasn't.
The actual meteor chirping us in the chat here. Zach McKinnell says this is worse than Youngstown's performance.
I can't believe he said that.
I thought they had fur. That's my bad.
You.
But nobody's making
You furry
pillows.
bird.
Nobody's making pillows out of penguin feathers. By the way,
I would
okay.
ask
We
the
be done with
Inuits.
this,
I bet they
please.
do.
All right, let's move on. Do we?
This nonsense was brought to you by our segment sponsor, Cubbies. Well, we
There
talked
we
about
No,
Cubbies
no.
too.
Cubbies is the show sponsor. This nonsense was brought to you by Blue Tide Car Wash.
That's right.
Locations in Brookings, Sioux Falls, and Mitchell now with multiple tunnel locations across the southeastern part of the state. I just went through twice today. And they got free vacuums, which is awesome. A lot of their locations actually have a car mat cleaning machine, which is also fantastic. Get their monthly subscription. It's the way to go. You will save money on your car washes total. And yeah,
You're not wrong,
Blue Tide
Michael.
Car Wash is the way to go. Make your car all pretty and shiny right before you head into the tailgate lots. If you're in Brookings, go to Blue Tide Car Wash. They have some fantastic options for cleaning. I might bump up. They've got a new, even higher level with a ceramic coating for your car. So Blue Tide Car Wash, Brookings, Sioux Falls, all get and go locations in Sioux Falls, and they're putting a car wash up in Mitchell. So Blue Tide Car Wash, go get your car cleaned up there. So anyways, yeah, not a great look for the South Dakota education system.
That's the Del Rapids educational system. That's covered in like 5th grade biology.
Anyway, Blue Tide, we need help cleaning this up. Let's.
Oh yeah, they've got super thick feathers.
Zach says one animal.
Ariel just sent me
episode.
Yeah,
that's their feathers. That's how thick they are. They're all feathers. See that?
Great.
That's feathers.
Great Plains or Bramble Park Zoo, if you're listening. Animal facts coming to the show with your sponsor.
Oh yeah, I'd totally bring on an animal fact person for the show and say facts about whatever we're playing.
Can we talk about some football games?
Okay. No, Ben's trying to defend his honor
I'm
here.
still
and I'm
Googling.
This is fantastic.
All right, we have.
You could make some wicked pillows out of that. Are you crazy?
We have a couple non-conference games we're going to go over for the first time this year. A couple ranked matches. We've got Western Carolina going to Montana, and Montana is an 18-point favorite at home. Alex, what does the model say?
Model says take the Grizz at 20.74. So it thinks they're, I won't say super easily, but they are going to cover. I will disagree on this one. I think Western Carolina had that hiccup a couple of weeks ago. Totally drawing a blank on who they lost to, who they shouldn't have. Zach McKinnell or someone else smarter than me will probably jump in the chat here and help me out. But I think we still don't know a lot about Montana's offense. Yeah, they put up some points last week. Campbell, thank you, Zach. But it was a D2 team. I realize that's also very rich coming from us considering last week. But against Division I competition, Montana's offense does not look good. I don't necessarily think Western Carolina wins, but I think Cole Gonzalez has that Catamount offense clicking enough to keep it within reach, and it's a 10 to 14-point win by the Grizz.
I don't like this line. I'm going to go with Montana at home. I think they're going to have a tough time in that environment in general. I think Montana's offense got going a little bit, but I think their defense is just going to be too much for Western Carolina on the road. Gonzalez is a stud quarterback, absolutely. But I don't know. That game he had against Campbell is just sticking in my head, and I imagine that and he will give the ball up once in a while, and the Montana defense is going to get pressure on them, I think, and force a turnover, and that crowd's just going to turn on them. And I don't know how well Western Carolina is going to handle that. I don't think they're going to handle it great. So it's a lot of points, but I'm going to eat them. So give me the Grizz. And I really wish I won't be mad if I'm wrong. I hope I'm jinxing Montana because I just enjoy when they screw up. like just because their fan base gets so mad. So I'm all about it.
I'll take Montana as well. I think that Western Carolina really, I mean, obviously they want to throw the ball, and I think Montana does a good enough job of stopping the big play, and Western Carolina won't be able to move the ball enough, and Montana will score too many points, and they'll win by 20. Next game we have out of conference Idaho going to ACU. Alex, what does the model say?
Oh, what's the line?
Oh, you're right. The model or the line is Idaho by 12.5.
Model says Idaho by 11 even. So model is going to take Abilene Christian to cover. I'll disagree. I think I did have Abilene Christian for full transparency. Those that know I vote in the Redshirt Sports Poll. I had them towards the back half of my top 25. But Idaho is playing some gnarly defense right now. I think we see an Abilene Christian performance closer to what we saw last week versus Northern Colorado than we saw in that overtime thriller against Texas Tech. Go Red Raiders! My uncle's an alum, and I think Idaho's defense really forces Abilene Christian's offense to struggle. They haven't played defensively a team anywhere close to what Idaho's going to throw at them, and Idaho's offense has been Jack Lane, Jack Train, Jack Payne, doesn't matter. They got all those jacks. They all know how to throw the football. Third string quarterback, whatever. Idaho's offense will click.
I'm going to go ahead and take Idaho big. I am not a believer I'm more of a believer in Abilene Christian, like needing a 54-yard field goal to beat Northern Colorado than I am in them staying close with Texas Tech. We see bad teams do that all the time and hang with an FBS opponent. And then because that was what they had circled on the schedule. And after that, I'm going to go ahead and take Idaho. So I think their defense is going to shut ACU down. And I think they win by 3 scores. So give me the Taters.
100% on Idaho. I think their defense is really, really good. Eck has them playing well, even with some injuries. So, yeah, I think this is an easy cover. Next game, we've got the struggling Penguins going to Pittsburgh. Pitt is a 25.5 point favorite at home.
Model says Pitt by 23.44, so Penguins are going to cover. Gosh, this is a hard one for me. I kind of hem and hawed about this, and I was doing some show prep last night, working on finishing up by the numbers article. As always, check that out on the blog now. I don't know. Pitt is 3-0, but they haven't played anyone tough, at least relative to FBS competition. But we saw how
Kent State. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But 0-4 with a loss to St. Francis Kent State. But we saw how horrible Youngstown was last week too. Just because they're kind of regionally close, I think Pitt won't completely overlook this game. I think Pitt covers.
Pitt should cover, but I'm going to take Youngstown in a bounce back game that's going to make everybody go, oh, they're pretty good again. And then they're going to just be terrible the rest of the way. I think Youngstown is going to be way, 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 way up for this game. They're right next door to each other. Pitt is us and Augie. Not saying that because of the game against I'm not saying that because of the game against Augie. I think that YSU is going to be way up. I think they're going to have they're going to be in their feelings a little bit about getting pantsed by Duquesne. So I think they're going to come and be ready to play, and they're going to cover. They're not going to win, but we're all going to be going, really? You lost to Duquesne, and now you're within a touchdown in the fourth? So give me Youngstown State to cover. I'll go with the model.
I will also take Youngstown State to cover. It's just too many points for Pitt, who, I just don't have a whole lot of faith in them pulling away by that much. They'll probably win by 17-20. But I think Youngstown State can stay within 24 there. Then we've got we've got Drake going to USD. USD is a 28-point home favorite.
So the model says Kenyotes by 28.34. So it is just barely going to take them to cover. And I don't know that I'll agree with that. Well, I don't know. Where I'm struggling with this is USD keeps talking about how they're going to have this explosive offense this year, and granted, they've only got to play 2 games, but we haven't seen it. Granted, Drake, even though they won the Pioneer and were a playoff team last year, and their 3 games against Valley teams had an average margin of like 50, so I talked myself back out of it. I'll agree. Yotes cover.
What's the line?
28.
28.
Oh, Yotes. Yeah, they're going to cover that. Yeah, Yotes are going to cover that. That's it. Yeah, Drake. Just because they beat Eastern Washington doesn't mean they're not still a Pioneer team. That's more of a indictment on Eastern Washington than anything. So I absolutely think that they're going to cover on that.
God, I'm real tempted to take Drake, but I think USD takes some anger out with the not having a game last week. They're going to be very well rested. I'll take USD winning in by enough at home there. Then we have the real USD, and I did, because I'm petty. I always have University of South Dakota in lowercase on my spreadsheet, and I had University of San Diego in uppercase on my spreadsheet. They go to UND. UND is a 25-point favorite at home. Alex, what does the model say?
Model says UND by 26.75. So it's going to take the Fighting Hawks to cover, and I'll agree. San Diego's a middle-of-the-road Pioneer team this year, and UND is playing some fantastic football right now. So I think they'll keep rolling. Their passing offense finally started clicking last week against Idaho State. There's no reason you wouldn't expect the same thing against San Diego.
What's the line?
25.
25. Yeah, it's at UND. UND covers.
Yeah, I don't think that San Diego is going to do enough to stay close here. I think UND is on a roll, and I don't think they stop against San Diego. So I will take UND as well. Clean sweep there. We've got Missouri State going to UT Martin, and UT Martin is favored by a half a point at home.
Just by a half. Well, I guess just by half. The model says UT Martin by 1.97, so it's just barely going to take the Skyhawks to cover. This is such a hard one to pick. I wrote about this once again and by the numbers this week. These teams have played 3 times in the last 2 years, and every single game has come down to the last drive. Every single time. So this is just such a hard one to pick. But I know I've kind of hemmed and hawed on them, but I like a lot of what I've seen from Missouri State this year. So I will take Missouri State to win this one since it's basically a pick 'em.
Yeah, I'm going to take Missouri State as well, just because, probably a lot because of the performance against Montana. At Montana, that was pretty impressive to me. I know UT Martin's a solid squad, but I think I'm going to take. I think Missouri State's going to take it. You know, they might win by a field goal or so, but give me Missouri State.
I like Missouri State here as well. And I don't like that Brendan and I have picked the same for every game so far.
Yeah, it never goes well for us when we pick the same a lot.
No.
That's not good.
No, it's real bad.
Not good. You need to pick somebody else. You pick after me, so this is your fault.
Alex, did you say UT Martin or Missouri State?
No, it's Missouri State. Model's the only one that took UT Martin.
Okay, gotcha.
It's a sweep.
Except for the model. Anyway, we've got Eastern Illinois going to Illinois State, who has a ton of injuries. Illinois State is favored by 11.5 at home.
Ooh, I'll take Eastern in that. Oh, sorry, I'm out of order. Go ahead.
You're fine.
Spoiler alert.
Model says Redbirds by 14.8. So it's going to take the Redbirds to cover somewhat handily. And I will actually agree. Last year, I was watching this game in the stands at Target Field after the Drake game was in hand, but just kind of enjoying the atmosphere. And Illinois State completely crapped their pants at the end of this game last year. They should have won, and they got the ball back twice in 3 minutes, down like 4 and threw 2 picks. Anyhow, going too far down that road. I think Tommy Rittenhouse, I don't think he's played great, but I think he's played good enough. I think Winker's right, even with the injury to losing Mason King for the year, has played really well. I think the defense will start to come around, even with Abdullah out. And I just overall don't think Eastern is very good, so I'll agree. I'll take the Redbirds.
They just had another big injury, though. I think their star linebacker.
He's been out.
It was another running back got hurt, I believe. I just think they're too banged up, and it is a rivalry game. I don't see him winning by 14. See him winning by like 7-10. It is at home. You know, if it was on the road, then I'd be really confident in this pick. But go ahead and give me Eastern cover, which means they're going to burn me because I'm picking an OVC team, and that never goes well.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna also take Eastern
Stop
Illinois
it.
cover.
Stop it.
I think they do
just enough. Slaughtered. Oh my god.
Just enough to stay within 10.
You know, I've been one game over 500 every week. That ends this week because Ben's picking everyone the same as me. It's over. It's over.
Or we gain a bunch of points on Alex.
No. Just stop. God.
You never know.
Anyways, amidst my disappointment in here, I do want to bring up our segment sponsor that's normally for the B team, but we completely left them out because we're just bad people. That is Northwestern Mutual of Sioux Falls. Thank you so much to Mr. Kenkel for being one of our sponsors here for the shows. And obviously with that, we are partnered with Alex's Lemonade Stand. The goal is to get $250,000 raised this year. And as of right now, we've got some work to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to pull this up. As of right now, the numbers are not great. They're not great. We need to get them up. I understand some of us may be holding back money, and I'm not saying, you know, there's certain things, you know, maybe hold our powder till the end, but we do want to get some money rolling here just to get everybody else involved. As of right now, there's a total of like $115 raised, which we know is sad. $20 for Mark. Everybody's in there. Mark Gronowski's our guy. Aiden Bauman is back for USD. We've got to take him out. So
we got a couple bucks him out in the competition.
In the competition. I know Jim Poppin has a great deal going on right now. He's got a whole pledge for wins and touchdowns and everything like that. So that's going to be at the end of the year. But if you've got a couple spare coins to get this kickstarted, get this rolling, let's get Mark up to a couple $100 here. That'd be a great start for everybody. They are going to be having their tailgate down at the Southeastern Louisiana game. So if you happen to be traveling, stop by. Raise some money to fight childhood cancer, or you're for childhood cancer. That's fine. You don't have to donate. You can be for kids dying from cancer. That's fine. We won't judge you. I mean, I will deep on the inside, but you know, it's fine. We're going to have our own thing we do this year. We haven't quite come up with it. We like to do things a little naturally and see as they come this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's some sort of, if there's some sort of, retweets or something that we end up doing that we pledge money to raise money, and maybe it's bring the Curter Birder back at Culver's or something. So anyways, that's that. Northwestern Mutual, though, if you do need if you don't have your retirement set, you're just kind of one of those people just throwing a random percentage into your 401k, talk to those guys. They'll set you straight. It's free, doesn't cost anything, and they'll set you on the right path because they don't make money if you don't make money. So give Northwestern Mutual a call in Sioux Falls or wherever you are. They're nationwide. A lot of former Jacks work there. They do a great job. A lot of former Jacks players. I know Quentin Hicks is down there. So, yeah, give those guys a call. They'll help you out. So, anyways, that's that, and we can continue on with our picks.
So glad you put that on the screen because 0 people could read it.
Oh, well, I tried.
I
Anyways,
thought it
if
was
you
fine.
want to know, just because Ben's got bad eyes, we're not going to trust the guy who thought penguins had fur. If you are listening, and you're not watching, if you want to get to, you used to be able to type in Northwestern Mutual in the search bar on Alex's Lemonade Stand. It doesn't show up for some reason right now. But you go to FCS Nation Radio, not FCS Fans Nation like the YouTube we're on, but FCS Nations Radio, fcsnationradio.com. And then on the top right of the screen, it'll say Alex's Lemonade Stand. Sometimes from mobile, it says more. Click on more. It'll say Alex's Lemonade Stand. Go down. You can hit donate, pledge, check the standings. And let's go beat them like a drum. Everybody. Beat everybody. We're champions and everything. We always win the food drive for the Summit League. Let's win this.
We sure mention FCS Nation Radio a lot. I think they should start kicking us some money.
Right. Yeah. No kidding. Right.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
All right. We've got SEMO going to SIU. SIU's favored by 9.5 at home.
Model says SIU is going to cover at 10. First of all, do you guys know what this game is?
It's a rivalry game. I don't know the name of it.
It's the War for the Wheel, man.
Ah, it's right. They play for the big wagon wheel.
No, it's a ship's wheel.
It is. You're right.
Do you know why it's a ship's wheel?
Because there's a river there?
Yeah, so back in the day, they used to take the river back and forth to each other. And one time the Southern Illinois boat crashed, and the players all swam to shore and got picked up and still played the game. It's a freaking awesome rivalry. It's one of my favorite rivalries in college football, not just FCS, but college football. It's not in the story I read about it. It just talked about it. It didn't say if they won or lost.
It's way more gangster if you win after a shipwreck.
Right. But anyhow, I'm going to go. Seth Meyers took the words right out of my mouth. I think SEMO covers pretty easily, if not wins outright. Coach Nick Hill for the Salukis came out earlier this week, said that hand injury DJ Williams suffered at the hands of Incarnate Word is going to sideline him for some significant time. And a lot of Southern Illinois' offense went through him. He led them in passing, obviously, as a quarterback, but also in rushing. And a lot of their offense was just him kind of Michael Vick, vintage Madden 04 Michael Vick style, making stuff up on the fly, scrambling, throwing back across his body. It was fun as hell to watch, but wasn't going to be sustainable, I think, in Valley play anyhow, but now it's really not going to be. So they got to kind of turn the offense over to this junior that's a pocket passer. And with Paxton DeLorean on the other side, even with some of the really good defense Southern Illinois plays and some of the pressure that they bring, I think they covered 10 pretty easily, if not contending for a win late. And yes, Seth, the trophy itself is only 10 years old, but it's a trophy with history. And I love the hell out of that. So
I think Chad has like the slowest internet on the planet right now because his comments are coming in so
he's like 10 minutes behind.
Anyways, amid that, Chad, you're still here with us in spirit, buddy. I'm going to take SEMO as well. I do think they cover easily, all the reasons you mentioned. We have seen Southern Illinois have backup come in and be really good as well in recent.
Stone Labanowitz, sorry.
Labanowitz. Yeah. So anyways, he's not here to defend himself. Chad's browsing history can cause a slow computer. That's true. Or whatever you pick up doing that browsing, that's a possible thing. We do have the link for Alex's Lemonade Stand from Chad though, so shout out. He just can't help himself from being a producer, so he's got it on. He's got us straightened out. Yeah. So I'm going to take SEMO to cover.
I will go against you. Finally, I'm going to take Southern Illinois to cover. I think they rally around their new quarterback, and I think they do enough to cover.
One last thing.
It'll be a late garage time cover.
One last thing I'll add before we go on to the next game that's working against Ben in the model. The away team has won the last 3 meetings by taking a lead change within the last 40 seconds. This is always an awesome game. I'm kind of glad we're away this week so I can have this one on my other screen because it's always a fun game.
All right, then we've got UNI has to travel all the way to Hawaii to play, which sounds nice. Hawaii is favored by 7.5 at home.
7.5. Model says Panthers cover 5.32. I disagree. UNI has done nothing to convince me. I know Hawaii's not a good FBS team, but between the travel and how unimpressive UNI has looked this year, I think Hawaii will cover that.
I am going to go with the model because it doesn't make sense, so it makes sense. So I'm going to take UNI to cover in this one. They shouldn't, but I'm going to take them. So give me UNI.
Yeah, I mean, Hawaii just got whooped by Sam Houston. They did keep it within 3 against UCLA. I am worried about how UNI has looked, but I'm going to have faith in old Skeletor, and he's going to get him playing well again. So I'll take UNI.
It's going to be Mr. Farley's neighborhood.
And we've got an interesting matchup. NDSU coming off of that rough game against ETSU. We've got Towson going to NDSU. Towson just should have beat Villanova. They had 2 shots at it, still couldn't do it with a field goal. NDSU is favored by 23.5 at home.
Model says Bison by 26.9, so they're going to cover. I said the same thing last week, and we saw how that turned out, but I just don't see how the Bison aren't a complete physical nightmare for Towson in this one, and they don't win by at least that. Only added bonus this time is coming off a rough performance the week before. Sound like Polasek is really on Grant Olson and the rest of the defensive staff to figure some stuff out why no one in their second level can tackle, but we'll see.
Chad's so mad he joined the pod.
I was going to say, I thought I heard somebody join in.
Chad just joined on. He doesn't have a camera. He's something
backstage.
to say.
He just wants a live feed.
No, he's coming on. You don't get to do this. What?
Nothing. I'm just trying to watch in real time, apparently. My YouTube's slower than AIDS.
You can't say that.
I just did.
If my face isn't on screen, I can say whatever I want. Watch.
AI anymore. It could be a voice spoof. We don't know that's Chad.
Yeah, this isn't real Chad. This is he muted himself. I'll take him off. We're back, boys.
It's not even the expression anyway. I don't even know.
I've heard it before.
You can't say the real expression.
Well, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna take oh my god. All right, I'm gonna take NDSU. I think Polasek is so far up that team's hindquarters that he can see out their mouth. So they're going to have a get-right game because it's either that or you believe Towson is suddenly wildly improved, which isn't impossible, but I tend to believe that Nova had a bad game more than Towson is good. It takes more than one game for me to believe that. It's entirely possible Towson comes out and surprises everybody, which would be interesting in the Fargo Dome to hear how unruly that would. But I'm going to take NDSU to cover in this one. They're going to be out for blood. I think similar to the way the boys are for us, they're not going to be happy. So, give me the homeless cows to cover in this one.
I think so too. I think that Towson has a decent defense, but they're not going to have the offense, and NDSU's offense is still playing well, even though their defense is struggling. I think NDSU comes out with a good attitude this week, wanting to get back on the right track, and I think they win by 27 to 30 points. Last but not least, we've got number 1 in the nation on some polls still. Number
Aren't you
2,
forgetting a certain segment, or did we burn it up already?
2 or 3.
He
I have
burned it up
one
already.
Fine. I have one
told
more.
him.
I have
Well,
one more.
you might as well. There's no time like the present.
I have one more, and it is in reference to this game. This app is just, I don't know, man.
ST Rugglin.
All right.
And
It'll
for
only
our
let
good
me
friend
share it
Michael
in...
Batts, Murray will not lose this weekend.
Oh,
'cause they're
jeez.
off.
That's a big rabbit.
It's a jackrabbit, is what it is.
It is.
It's a jackrabbit stepping on a lion. So yeah, we've got SDSU going to Southeastern Louisiana University, and SDSU is a 26.5 point road favorite.
26.5.
So many points. That's so many
Model
points on the road.
says Jacks by 26.25. So the Lions just barely to cover. So
Wow.
if you very foolishly use this show for financial advice, stay away from this game. I'll kind of agree, not because I don't think we won't come out and take care of business after our performance last week, even with a win. I think it's more so the style of game SLU wants to play. You know, they're a very run-heavy team. So I could see the score pretty easily being like 38-14, and even though we handle business, we don't cover just because there's not that many possessions in the game.
Alex sounds like me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's one for you guys. So I've been picking against this per protocol all season, and it hasn't worked superstitiously anymore. I've just been right. We haven't covered much. But this game
Well, I mean,
on the road,
like our spreads have been massive.
Right.
which is unfortunate. That's also unhelpful. And I hate huge spreads like this. We're gonna go. This is I do like this matchup against a run heavy team. Farm cats, dude. I don't even know what's going on.
We're playing.
I don't even know what's going on in the chat right now.
Dustin said lions are the lions are the only cats that naturally live in groups.
We've lost control of the chat. That's a
Farm
weekly
cats,
thing,
dude.
though.
The chat's out of hand. It's getting wild. This is the type of team that I think we match up really well against. Run heavy team. I think the offense is going to be super locked in this week. I think Mark's going to start to just relax and ball. I think that's what he really needs to do. He's got every ounce of talent in the world that he needs to. Just let that all that pressure and trying to do it fall off his shoulders and just go out and ball. So I am going to take SDSU in this game to cover.
Fancy that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys thought I was playing it up for the old switcheroo. I was not. I'm taking SDSU to cover, which if something horrible happens, don't look forward to that in the future. So there's that.
I also like the matchup, and I think that the offense comes out wanting to prove a point. I think that they are going to put up quite a few points down there. Don't know if I'll call a 50 burger, but our defense is playing so well that we won't have to score 50 to cover this spread. So yeah, I'll take us winning by 28 to 31 points, somewhere in that range.
And since my wife requested it, maybe I'll start doing it. Fun other mascot animal facts. We're gonna go with this one that Revs put up there. Other lion fact that I learned at the San Diego Zoo this week is lions can spray 7 to 10 feet to mark their territory. So that's fantastic. You know, Mike, so are cardinals. So and your mascot gets turned into glue when it retires. So
and steaks in France.
All right. With that, I think we've done enough damage for the night.
Couple housekeeping points. Thank you to our title sponsor on the year, Kubota Dealers of South Dakota. I got stuck behind a lovely piece of Kubota equipment on the work today, so I got to admire it in all its glory. It was a very nice looking backhoe, though. The only other thing is shout out to some of the other Jackrabbit athletics this fall. Soccer and volleyball are both on heaters right now. Soccer's 7-2-1. Volleyball's undefeated. You're in the Brookings area. Take a chance to go out and support those teams. We made it out to a soccer game earlier this year, and it's a lot of fun. It's the first one I'd been to since I was probably a student, and took the fam, and it was a good time.
Well, volleyball's at the Pentagon right now. They're well on their way winning a program record 9th game to start 9-0, and I believe they will have a game on Saturday as well. So go out and support the volleyball team. They're having a huge turnaround, so big for them. That's really exciting to see that program turning in the right direction, because realistically, with all the programs we offer, that was probably the one that was the most down for a while. And Coach Greg, I'm going to call you that, as I'll screw up your whole last name of Gregorius, or I can't say it right.
Gregulus.
So I'm going to call you Coach Greg. Gregulus. We're going to go with Coach Greg. I like that better. Coach Greg, he's really got him going in the right direction, so that's awesome. Big shout out to those guys.
Yeah, and you might as well go check out the new First Bank and Trust Arena, watching the volleyball team.
Yeah, that's the early way to get in and check it out, is to go watch the volleyball team. They're starting there soon.
They got to open the building, so I'm glad they're hot, because they'll need it.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And lastly, again, FCS Nation Radio and Alex's Lemonade Stand is doing a tailgate down at the Southeast Louisiana game against SDSU this weekend. So if you are there, go check that out. With that, as Jim Poppin said, as we always say, go big, go blue, go Jacks.
Oh,